I voted to get these damn files released, and it's like a total 180.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
He campaigned, he said, look, we're going to release the files. And what has been disappointing is we've, for the last 5-6 months, have had to fight the administration at every step of the way, which gets me to believe, like, who is protecting these people?
So I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. I've been covering this topic for a long time. I started this with Ryan Montgomery about 2 years ago.
I know you did.
Then I brought on Tim Tebow. We're bringing on your buddy Schlepp, who's going after roadblocks. Yeah. I know you're the first and only congressman to actually speak out against roadblocks, at least according to Schlepp's attorney.
Yeah.
And I just interviewed Elizabeth Phillips. Are you familiar with this Camp Kanakuk?
I'm not.
It's the biggest Christian camp in the fucking world.
Yeah.
And I brought Elizabeth Phillips on, and she talks about how they've been molesting thousands of kids for years and putting them under NDA after a settlement so that they can never, as a kid, so that they can never come out and talk about their sexual abuse at fucking Camp Kanakuk.
It's sick.
You know, and now we have, I fucking voted for this shit. I voted to get these damn files released, and it's like a total 180 just happened.
Well, I don't know if you had the president on or the vice president on your show, but they
had both of them on.
They campaigned on this, right? And so when Massey and I originally did the bill, we thought, okay, Trump should be for this because he campaigned. He said, look, we're going to release the files. Here's the truth of the matter. No one cared about this issue since the 1990s. It's not like a Donald Trump thing. Biden, we didn't release the files under Biden. This thing was going on since the 2000s. In 1996, Maria launched a complaint with the FBI, and she was told, we're not going to do anything. By the way, you talk to some of the other survivors, they were told, don't talk to the New York police. Epstein is too connected. For 30 years, until some of the documents just came out because of Massey and my bill, Maria was called a liar by everyone in power and said, oh, she never filed a complaint with the FBI. So when Trump said he wants to release the files, he was right. When he said that the system is corrupt, protecting rich and powerful people, he was right. And we gave him the benefit of the doubt. Then Pam Bondi comes and says, oh, there are no more files. I mean, come on. That's when Massey and I do this bill. And we initially thought maybe Trump would support it because his own attorney general is betraying his promise. And what has been disappointing is we've, for the last 5-6 months, have had to fight the administration at every step of the way, which gets me to believe, like, who is protecting these people?
I don't understand. I got really fucking pissed off at the Democrat Party because the maps, the minor attracted persons shit before Trump came into office, we talked about it all the time. Now, why are we protecting? Why is the White House protecting pedophiles? Why is the White House protecting pedophiles? I just don't understand it, Ro. I can't fucking get it through my head why we would protect pedophiles. The other thing is, this country has the biggest fucking problem with sex exploitation and sex trafficking in the world. We can talk about fucking Venezuela and Mexico and Ukraine and Russia and fucking China and waste, fraud, and abuse and fucking liberals this and Democrats this and Republicans. And we have a pedophile problem. We have a fucking pedophile problem in this country, and nobody's doing anything about it in government except you and Thomas Massey. What the fuck is going on?
You know how I know this? Because
is everybody in government a fucking pedophile now? What the fuck is happening?
Well, I don't understand who they're trying to protect because I keep saying it's not about Trump. There's so many people, Democrats, Republicans, who were involved in all of this. Just release the files. And we know, they say, how do you know, Ro, that there are other men involved? First of all, just use your common sense. There are 1,200 plus survivors. You think one guy raped all of them? You think one guy abused all of them? Of course not. There was a system of powerful, rich men who either trafficked in these girls or abused them or showed up to Epstein's rape island. The survivors haven't told me the specific names, but what they have told me with their lawyers is the type of people who were involved. A Wall Street banker, a powerful politician. And they said that they sat through interviews with the FBI. They're called 302 statements. and they told the names on those 302 statements. So release the 302 statements. They're not doing that, even though the law explicitly calls for releasing those statements. We'll know who these powerful men are. Then there was a prosecution memo. Originally, there were 60 counts against Epstein, supposed to be in Florida. They prosecuted him on 2 counts. There's a memo which explains why there should have been 60 counts, including ties with foreign countries, including ties with people who were financing him, including allegations of a honeypot system where he was trying to entrap basically powerful men. And they're not releasing the memo, even though the law explicitly says we want to know all the decisions of why he was charged or not charged. This is, they're covering it up, and the people are asking, why? Who are the powerful forces that have such influence that they're covering this up?
Every citizen I talk to, hear, see on social, anything, once those files released. Was it every single person in Congress that voted for it to release them? And was there every single person in the Senate except one person?
Everyone in the House except one.
Everyone in the House except
and
one.
Every senator. But I got to give credit not just to Massey's courage, because he's got billionaires funding against him, and the billionaires don't like me these days either. You go after the Epstein class, you make a lot of enemies. Look at my ex, and you see the people who go after Massey and me. But it wasn't just Massey and me. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace stuck their neck out to sign a discharge petition that the two of us had to force a vote on it. They got bullied by the White House. They got bullied by the Speaker. They got threatened. Their political careers were threatened. Marjorie Taylor Greene lost her seat, gave up her seat in Congress over this.
Yeah, didn't the president tell her? What did he tell her?
He told her that she's betraying him. Look, Marjorie Taylor Greene was for Donald Trump when he came down the escalator. She was with Donald Trump when he ran in 2020 and lost. She was with Donald Trump when he said the election was stolen. I disagree with her, but she was out there defending him. She was with Donald Trump in 2024 when DeSantis and others were talking about running against him. No one had been more loyal to Donald Trump. And when she joined the petition, she says, I'm going to explain to Trump that he actually can be a hero. He's going to come on board. I'm telling you, he's going to come on board. She said, Trump says to him, well, you're hurting some of my friends. This is not the right thing. You're hurting people. How about hurting the survivors? How about hurting the women?
Yeah, how about the fucking kids?
It's girls.
Kids hurting your friends?
Gives
a shit about your fucking friends? We give a fuck about kids.
And these are working class girls. I wish people could see their stories and how they were exploited. It's a class issue. Rich, powerful people connected to politicians figuring out, who's vulnerable? Who doesn't have a father? Who doesn't have a lot of money? How do we get that girl to start with giving us massages? You know what the saddest thing that I heard from a survivor? They were saying that the survivors are guilty because the survivors were actually recruiters of aiding and abetting other girls in getting raped or getting abused. So one of the survivors says, I did that. You know why I did that? Because I was so afraid that I was going to be abused, that I went and I got other junior high girls and other high school girls to take my place because I didn't want to be abused.
Junior high girls.
Junior high girls.
And we can't release the files. Before we move on, and we just both get pissed off both sides of what we're doing, what we talked about, Ryan Montgomery, Tim Tebow, I told you about Elizabeth Phillips, who I just interviewed. We're bringing on Schlep. It's such a problem in this country. I'm just curious, what can parents do right now? Not call their congressman, not call their senator. That shit's not working. What can people do right now on their own to protect their kids?
One, they need to know how widespread this is. You know how it's widespread? I realize this because since I've been affiliated with Epstein, I get stopped on an airport. People will say, hey, Congressman, can I tell you about what happened to me? I've known people for 30 years. And they said, Ro, something happened. One person told me, when I was 4 to 8 years old, my babysitter's boyfriend abused me. And I never told my mom or my dad, because my dad would have killed a guy and my mom would have totally lost it. So I've held this with me. And she said to me, Ro, it's like a box. You put it in a box and you put it away, but it comes back at any moment. And the amount of people who have faced this, I'm not saying all from Epstein, obviously, just faced this in this country, is extraordinary, and it's sickening. It's a national crisis. First thing we need to realize is we've got a moral crisis in this country. Second thing is when you're having your kids go to a sleepover, go to a sports team, go on a field trip, be paranoid. I mean, I don't want to scare folks, but when you have them on a gaming site, when you have them on the internet, they need to be paranoid. The parents need to understand that this is not something that happens in a remote part of the country. This could happen to your kids. But the main reason I want these Epstein files out is because it'll force a reckoning in this country. It'll be the biggest scandal, I fundamentally believe, in 100 years, because it's going to expose how sick our elite culture is, where for their own gratification, they think that they can just abuse these girls and nothing will happen. And that kind of culture has permeated across the nation. They need to be shamed. They need to be held accountable. You know, John, there are buildings named after some of these people. And these survivors go around and they're seeing these people celebrated in the financial world, in the political world, honored, and they've committed the most heinous act. It's like, we may not agree on much. I think most Americans agree you don't rape American girls. Like, that's the line you don't cross.
No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.